Hi, welcome back. We're going to talk about cravings, and I'm going to tell you a secret. Now, it's a secret between you and I, and we're not going to let it get out anywhere. I smoked, and I smoked for years and years, and not just smoked. I loved smoking. I absolutely loved smoking. You could have told me, give up this, give up that. Smoking, give me a drink or a cigarette, I'd have had a cigarette anytime. I absolutely loved it. For whatever reason, it really, really worked for me. So giving up smoking was, I have a friend, I think she feels the same about croissants, right? Literally giving it up for her is like, you cannot be serious. So the croissants are mildly better for you, mildly. Giving up smoking meant having to deal with the really, really, really strong cravings that I had to smoke. And I learned so much about cravings at that time. And it has stood me in such good stead over the years and of opening Nosh. And I didn't understand, I mean, I gave up smoking sort of a while ago. But it hadn't occurred to me that that would become useful for me to do now. So thinking about giving up cravings is also thinking about understanding a mindset. I want to speak to you about the mindset of cravings, not so much about the act of the craving and what you do as a result of it, because you can be binging, you can do whatever, and they'll come off, I have to have this, I can't not have it. When you have a craving, the way the craving works is it kind of starts here and it builds. And you know how it's at the back of your mind and it builds and it's at the back of your mind and you're kind of trying to push it away and it's building. And you're like, no, and you're ignoring it, you're building. You're like, I can resist and it's building. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then it builds and then it builds. And then it gets to the stage where literally the only thing that you can think of is that thing that you can't have, eat, smoke, drink. It's a craving. And craving means it's coming from your stomach and this feeling keeps building and building and building and it's going off the charts. The interesting thing about that is that that craving that's going off the chart actually has a rhythm. It goes and 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 then it ebbs. But the whole process, which feels like this huge battle that we have to fight, that we can't, that we failed, everything, only takes about 3 minutes. That's right, 3 minutes. And frankly, you can do anything for 3 minutes. Actually, you can actually die for 3 minutes and come back. I don't recommend it, but you can. You can do anything for 3 minutes. So when you look at your craving, first, understand clearly. That craving has a beginning and it has an end. And it's the bit in the middle that gets really shirty and is just not very nice. But it has a beginning and an end. It will finish. Then, despite the feelings before and the feelings after, you don't crave all the time. If you look at your profit and loss of your day, you're looking at the whole day, the loss side would probably be what you eat off the craving. But that craving will go up, it'll go down. The day will carry on. You'll have another one. It'll go up and it'll go down. The day will carry on. What's an interesting thing to do is to, at this stage in the process, understand what causes your craving. Cravings come from something, and they usually come from you being in an emotional place. So I want you to do two things that basically boil down to the same act. When you get a craving, I want you to watch the craving, watch it go up and peak, and watch it come down. And I want you to write down, I had a craving. I want you to time the craving. And then when you finish the whole process, I want you to see what you were doing 5 minutes before. And then I want you to write that down. And I want you to do that 2, 3, 6, 8 times. You will find a couple of things. One, the fact that you are watching the craving means that you're not actually absorbed in it. You can stand back and go, it kind of gives you a bit of a detachment, which makes the craving easier to manage. 2, it gives you a sense that it will start and finish. You don't just get sucked in and think, I've got no control, I can't cope, and that whole feeling of, just goes away. 3, you will learn very quickly that your cravings have triggers. The only way to understand that is to write it down. Now, when you understand that your craving has triggers, you will then know that this thing makes me feel emotionally unhappy, unbalanced, just a mess, and it causes this craving. Do I need to eat crisps every week? Possibly. I might just need to do that because I'm not on a diet. So if I feel like I would like crisps, that's fine. When I crave crisps and I can't live without them, that is my issue. So you want to look at this concept of craving in this way. The whole idea, the image for those of you that visualize, is that the craving is very, very similar, the feeling of the craving is very similar to actually operating and looking at a waterfall. Let me explain. When you stand behind a waterfall, if you're looking at a waterfall, you just see a sheet of water, don't you? You can't see how thick the water is, how long it goes, how far it is. It's just a sheet of water. But if you stick your hand through a waterfall, you suddenly go past because it is literally a very, very thin sheet of water. That's exactly what your craving is like. There is a place where you're standing there, you're imagining that there's this water, you're stepping into this water, which is the height of your craving, and you almost can't breathe because there's just this stuff flowing over you, making you feel out of control, making you feel like you can't quite cope. But if you just take one step forward, you're through the waterfall.